Ooh. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel for another live stream. I'm your host, The Big Rob Theory, and today we have a great conversation coming forward with you. You know, we just did the Peacemaker series, and albeit, how it wrapped up was neither here nor there, but Alex and I have been talking the past few weeks just about various topics, the Authority, various things with DC and Warner Brothers, and Supergirl with Millie Alcock coming out and by underneath James Gunn. So we've got a lot of different topics for you. So I am going to bring in my man, the myth, the legend, Haynes for Heroes, the only other DC nerd that I know loves DC as much as I do, Mr. Alex Haynes. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Chilling, man. You know, we are here, and both of us guys have been a little bit under the weather, so forgive me if you hear me start laughing and then it sounds like some kind of carbureted something another with just clogged crap, because I don't know. See it, there you go. I don't know what's going on.
There it is.
It's all good. We're
Tally
here.
Mark. That's one.
Two. Yeah, I don't know what's been going on. Alex said it earlier. There's like 87 different things going around today. So
oh yeah. Stay
here
safe
we are.
out there, folks. There's nastiness everywhere. But what's not nasty is superhero stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when it comes to DC.
Yeah, especially DC. I mean, people give DC a bad rap because of obvious reasons. And I can somewhat agree, but I also disagree just because, I mean, everything takes time to build. And yes, DC, I think you can agree, DC has not done what Marvel has done in the past with like the solid buildup of characters, like the Soul movies, and then doing those cameos or like introductions of those people. I think that's one main thing DC needs to start doing. And I think that they need to start doing kind of what Marvel's doing. Yeah, they're late in the game, but who cares? Better late than never. Right. Start doing stuff like that. Introduce people. Don't just like shoehorn them in because people are like, what? Okay, like this is cool, but like who's Blue Beetle? You know what I mean? Like that movie was great, but it's kind of, I hate to say it, forgettable for a lot of people because they don't really know who Blue Beetle is unless you watch Batman Brave and the Bold, Young Justice, the New 52 stuff, and read the comics. You know, I think that DC should really hone in on that. What are your thoughts overall, first of all, on just DC in general and how they've been doing things and what you think like they maybe should implement?
So I feel like DC has, in the earlier years, they played it safe. They had their main players, like we're going to make a Superman movie. Mm-hmm. We're going to have Batman movies, mm-hmm. and never quite clear whether if they were in the same universe or just two completely different universes. It was just very separate films. And they found success there. You know, the Superman franchise, like with Christopher Reeves, was obviously really good. I mean, mm-hmm. They made how many? Like four films. Even though
they should have stopped at 3, but yeah, they made 4.
They made 4 films. Kind of 5 if you count Superman Returns. Is that technically a continuation of the Christopher Reeve movies?
Yeah. Yes. So it's technically a sequel, if you will.
So but kinda.
Like in the Scream series, they talk about a requel, which is like a prequel and a sequel. I don't know, yeah. But like I guess you could technically call it that, yeah.
So it was, you have that aspect there, where there's like some flow, but it was the same thing. People were kind of get over it, and even the Superman movies didn't dive too much into how fantastical Superman can be in terms of like villains and all. They mm-hmm. felt very safe. Same thing with the Batman movies. As much as I love the Batman movies, I think, every single Batman actor they picked was great. Like, say what you want about George Clooney's Batman and Robin movie. I think he was a great Batman, just in a horrible movie. Like all of Batman, I liked all the Batman movies, even Batman and Robin, which it's not a good movie, but I like it. Therefore, it brings a smile to my face. So therefore, it's a good movie to me. Yeah, but different type of good movie. Anyway, it was all safe. They were all playing it safe. Like we're just gonna stick to this character have his own little world,
Mm-hmm.
and they found success there. And then when the MCU started happening, it challenged that concept of like, well, this is a superhero universe. They technically in the comics take place all in the same universe. So let's just make this cinematic universe where all these characters, they live in the same world.
Yeah.
And they interact with each other. So that's where the MCU found its niche, and it kind of forced audiences to watch all the movies, because oh, you have to watch Iron Man, because if you don't watch Iron Man, you're going to miss this and be confused when you watch The Incredible Hulk, or when you watch Thor, Iron Man 2, etc. So they kind of had a built-in system there to get people to the theaters and get people into their universe. And they kind of worked themselves into a hole with that, because now every single thing has to connect to the next thing. That's the expectation they set in us. Whereas with the DCU now, well, at first DC attempted it with, Zack Snyder, and we're going to have our own cinematic universe, and, personal opinions aside, it didn't work out well. I have words about that vision.
Yeah. Let's circle back to that, because I'm very curious what you have to say about that, because I think for the first time you and I might have different opinions about that, but I'm curious. But continue.
Well, as a Superman fan, I did not like Man of Steel. I didn't like Zack Snyder's vision. It was just, it felt very edgelordy to me. That's I understand that. I'm fine with going in a darker tone, darker direction.
Absolutely.
I dig that. But just hearing the dialogue being spoken, a lot of it, for me, I was like, okay, this is really dorkish. This sounds like something a 13-year-old wrote. Except Michael Shannon and Russell Crowe's. They made those, they hit those out. Jor-El and General Zod, they hit. They were dope. I like their lines. Everything else, I was just like, this is weird. And then Henry Cavill, as an actor, real life, he already seems like Superman. I was like, okay, that's an automatic home run. But I felt like in Zack Snyder's movies, they were holding him back a lot from actually being Superman. It just felt like, hey, just be real gentle with it. You're very reserved. You're closed off. And I get they're trying to make the point well, he's an alien, trying to connect with humanity. But for me, that defeats the whole premise of Superman. Yes, he's an alien, but he was raised by humans. So he feels even more human than he does Kryptonian. So the whole time his character is just closed off. So I couldn't really ever connect with him. And then Batman v Superman happened.
Oh God, no.
That was a T-ball home run. But my God, it was just so long. It was like a 2.5-hour movie, the original, the theatrical cut.
Yeah, and then there's an extended cut.
and then you have the extended cut, which people say is better. I just think it's just longer and telling me more. But it's just it spent 2 hours of its runtime explaining to me that Lex Luthor framed Superman. And I'm like, we get it. Move on. Batman is just sitting in his cave having a mental spiral. He doesn't really do much. He just sits there and spirals, and then it's just I'm gonna kill Superman. And and then the final 30 minutes when they're fighting Doomsday, which and Wonder Woman, that was the movie I was waiting for. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're getting some spiciness. But I wanted to see Batman v Superman though.
Yeah, literally.
I needed that, I don't want a 2-hour fight scene, even though that would have been dope. But have them kind of competing back and forth, Batman one-upping Superman, kind of show a little rivalry. And then I was expecting Lex Luthor to create like a bizarro version of Superman,
Yes,
like,
bro.
or like
Yes.
a Mazo, something
Oh my
that
god.
like makes it more clear that, oh, yeah, that was definitely Superman murdering those people. Look, he's flying away. He's using
Yep.
his vision. And like, whereas I don't know, there was a lot of flaws in the argument that like, oh, Superman totally burned these terrorist soldiers alive.
But it
And
wasn't
I'm just
Superman.
like, I'm like, and at no point did Superman go, no, I didn't. I wasn't even, I went there, I got my babe, and I dipped. Everyone was there when I got there, already dead when I got there. But, you know, that after Batman v Superman, I was just like, I'm done with Zack Snyder. I'm very angry with him. Don't talk to me. No shade towards him as a human being. Once again, I hear he's a great, I hear he's a great person. But in terms of the movies, DC movies, I'm like, just get him away. Just keep away. And then anytime I hear like, oh, here were his plans for the Justice League movie.
Yeah, especially the Nightmare.
And I'm just like, I'm like, what? Like,
what are you doing?
There is just so much that I just did not mesh with. Like, people like it,
Same.
and you know, if you like it, awesome, good. I'm glad people have enjoyment in it, and it creates more superhero fans. But for me, I'm just like, this felt like a watered down version of all my characters with some dirt in there to make it a little dark, you know.
That's perfect. Before you continue, we got a couple comments here. We got from Mr. Mike himself. Did you see that? It's the 2 DC legends. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And he also saying, "What's up, fellas? Thanks for stopping by, Mike." And another comment from Mr. Anthony. You know, at work, but dropping in to throw some love in the comments. Have a great stream, y'all. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated, Mike and Anthony, for those comments. Yeah, man, they actually came in at a good time because we're getting into kind of not a heated, but like a strong debate about Zack Snyder's run with DC. And I'm glad that we actually, because this wasn't even originally what we were going to talk about, but I'm glad that we got to this because I feel like you and I have been meaning to talk about this stuff, you know, and especially because guess what? The Snyder bots are still just running rampant, bro. And I don't, just like you, I don't hate Zack Snyder whatsoever. I've seen him in interviews. I've seen him in some documentaries, and I like him. Like, he's cool. You know, he loves superheroes, and he loves what he does. So I have that respect. However, I will say I'm opposite on Man of Steel because I had a weird love for Man of Steel because it's weird because Anthony and I used to be part of a band. I'm not sure how many people know that, or we used to be part of a band when we were in high school, and then a little bit we got out of college. And it didn't really pan out because like most of the members kind of just got stagnant while he and I wanted to do more. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. But my point with that is we both heavily love music. So the music in Man of Steel, as crazy as it sounds, made me love the movie more because the certain moments, especially with his dad, I thought about my dad, him being ostracized. I thought about me being ostracized when I was younger and even in college and even now at certain places that I go. You know, it just spoke to me in a different way. However, I will say they 100% held Henry Cavill back as Superman, bro. Like that was like probably one of the best things you said about Henry Cavill. Like, he's a good actor. He's a great actor.
Absolutely.
And he is, you know, we were watching The Witcher with Liam Hemsworth, and my girlfriend and I, we were saying, like, you know, he's just significantly smaller than Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill is just a mountain. Yeah, he's a mountain. And that's how Geralt is in the games and how he is like in some of the books and stuff. And it's like, okay, no shade on Liam personally, but it's just the writing behind it. And it's Henry Cavill is of a different caliber, you know?
Yeah.
So him being Superman makes sense. It makes perfect sense. But my girlfriend made also a really good point, and I think that you were probably going to be like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. But they didn't really do much with him as Clark. You know, like they didn't do the whole classic Lois and Clark meeting first and then her finding out he's Superman. They just said, beep, beep, here you go. I'm this alien, and she's like, oh, okay. And it's
you're
like,
together now.
Well, I mean, I'm all for doing a different version of stories, a different type of thing, but Just like in the time travel with Barry and him talking to Wells and saying, oh, you know, certain things will be the same, but there's significant things that'll be different. I think that's one of those things that kind of needs to remain the same just because of the way how the story goes, you know, like Lois and Clark. Like there's Lois and Clark before there's Lois and there's Lois and Clark before there's Lois and Superman, as in her knowing who he is and like helping him in a way. Like she knows about Superman or this alien. And that's what I like that they're doing in the Tomorrowverse. I don't know if you've seen any of those movies, any of those movies yet. Like
I got to get into them.
Yeah, I will say I don't blame you for kind of not slacking, but kind of taking your time because
it's okay. Hold me accountable.
No, I don't mean like that.
Come on.
It's
we do a DC live stream. You need to keep up.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, because I would expect you to say the same. But no, seriously, like those movies they're good in their own. They're good in their own way. And what I mean by that is those movies followed the new 52 style of movies, like the 16 movie run back in the day. Like I can't remember, like it was like 2012, 2013, 2014, all that time. So the new 52 movies really set a precedent because obviously that's around the time DC had their rebirth when they killed off a lot of the heroes, but they brought them back, which happens in every single superhero lore ever. But the way how they did this New 52 rebirth was amazing. I remember reading on my phone, and when I'd be in college, like going to do the radio morning show at 6 a.m, waking up at 3 a.m, I'd have my iPad reading these comics, bro, because I'm like, this is crazy. Like this rebirth is awesome. So following those amazing movies, that's going to be tough, especially when everybody loved the animation, loved the grittiness, loved the dirtiness of it, loved the blood and gore of it. And it was just so well done. And the story was told so well through all those movies. So that's 16 to 17 movies. Whereas here there's like 5, 6, maybe 7 movies, in the new continuity. So they kind of rushed a lot of things, and I think that they did a good job with Superman, Man of Tomorrow, with the Parasite villain in there, and they introduced. Oh, I don't want to say anything because you haven't seen them yet, so I don't want to spoil it. But once you do see them, we can do something on it. But they kind of do a little bit what the live action does. They kind of just bring in these people, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, okay, cool, yeah, great,
all right.
There's only one of those movies that I guess 2, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and Justice Society, World War II. That one is with the Flash and the actual Justice Society of America because he time travels. That's not a spoiler. It's like literally in the trailers. Yeah. But that one, I will say that one is the best one there's Beware My Power with Green Lantern. So these movies are good, but they don't like hit as hard, and it's kind of the same thing with like the Zack Snyder run. It's like those movies are okay, aside from Batman vs Superman and then the original Justice League. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like I've seen the extended version, and I will say that the extended version is a little bit better, only because there's certain scenes that aren't in the original one. Like there's this whole thing with Batman and Bruce Wayne when he's younger, like he's falling through something and then all the bats. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, but it was just like a whole lot of nothing, bro. Batman vs Superman kind of made me angry because it's like, first of all, the dialogue is trash.
It was so bad. I'm like, what?
Like, save Martha. Why'd you say that name?
That pissed me off. I'm like, come on.
What do you mean? Why'd he say that name? You're a genius, Bruce. Like, think about save Martha. He said so. Is your mom's name Martha? That's my mom's name.
Our moms have the same name, bro. Like,
what? He could have literally just been like, Martha's. That's my mom's name. What are you talking about? Save her. That I would have taken that. That would have been better. Like, why are you saying save Martha? That's my mom's name.
Please save. Just if you're gonna kill me, fine, but please just save my mother.
Yeah, save my mom. But why did you say save Martha? Just say save my mom. He has my mom. He said that later, and it was just like, what? Why did? Oh my God! And you said it, bro. Like you were saying it, and it actually started getting me heated in a good way, as in agreeing, because it's like, why this would have been a perfect movie to introduce Bizarro. people were already against Superman because of that court scene. People already have been against him since the beginning of this movie. You know, Bruce has been having those dreams about like the nightmare. You know, Superman comes down and he like kills all this people. Yeah, okay, great, that's cool, that's fine. I mean, that's the whole nightmare universe. You know, Injustice, Lois Lane dies, and you know, Superman goes apeshit. You know, but we missed an opportunity to have a live action. Well, a live action Bizarro in the movies. They did it in the TV show, which was so good. Like, man, Superman and Lois is great.
Great show. That's a great show.
That is a great show, right? Like, why couldn't? Anyway,
I was not expecting to like that show so much, but I digress.
Yeah, no, well, I think it was for me. I got out of watching the CW TV shows, and we all know how those got, you know, very convoluted and crappy. But then I saw that, and I was like, oh, great. And I love this Tyler Hoechlin guy and Elizabeth Tulloch. They were in crossovers, and I liked them. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll give this a shot, I guess. Give this a shot. It's beautiful. It's
Man,
really beautifully.
Had me in tears that first season. I'm like, oh my god,
bro. That the first 2 seasons are probably the best 2 seasons, because season 3 and 4 is good. It's good, and they did a really good. They did Superman / Clark justice in the ending of that series. I don't know if you finished it yet, but
yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you know. Okay. Yeah. With him dying and you know being like human in essence, and just. That was a nice send off for this specific Clark. You know,
it is a very different Superman story than usually. Stuff like that bugs me because I'm like, this is a Superman story. Exactly. Like they kind of did their own thing with it, but it worked. It worked. I was like, okay, well, if it makes me cry, then I can't have complaints about it.
Bro, the only other time a CW show has made me cry was The Flash, but that was like earlier, like a season between like seasons 1 and 3, and that's when it was coming out. Like, I mean, it was coming out. You know, I was watching it as it was coming out. So it was just Arrow and Flash, I think, at that point, and then Legends came around. But yeah, no, that's the only other time in a CW show, because I mean, you can be like, okay, there's drama, there's a romance for no reason. Okay, there's all this other extra stuff that I don't know or what, but Superman and Lois, they did it. They did a good job with that. And I just don't understand why Zack Snyder and the rest of the team held Henry Cavill back as Superman like that. Or I really want to know why. Why did we make him be so like, you know, like, come on, bro. Like, yeah, Superman gets his ass beat sometimes, but like, look at the Superman in the new movie that came out. Like, yeah, he was a big softie, as in he cares a lot about people. He saves a fucking squirrel, for Christ's sake. That was in that Christopher Reeve did that.
He knew who he was. He was very vulnerable. He opened up to the audience. So like you're able to connect with him or not. Like, oh, I don't agree, I disagree. But with Henry Cavill Superman, it's just like you can't get a read on him.
Nope.
At all. So you're like, I get you're an alien, but bro, you were raised here, so you should know. You should know,
yeah, exactly. And then this is no dig on Henry Cavill himself. No. It's just more on the writing behind his Superman. And Man of Steel, I think the reason. Oh, this is what I forgot, and then we can move on. Sorry, we've been just going on a tangent, man.
No, this is a good tangent.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is great. The reason I think I love Man of Steel so much was because, yeah, he was more brooding, if you will, and a little darker. But I was like, okay, you know, this is the first movie. Let's see what happens. And then, well,
and then we did.
And then we got Batman versus Superman, and I was like, all right, we don't need it now. We need to go back. We need to erase this because, geez Louise, the action is okay. But I would have preferred, like, Superman and Batman, I think, met each other about like 3 or 4 times before they actually fought each other, like in the comics and like in animated stuff. And they've always been like quick-witted with each other. So we didn't really get that yet either. We didn't get any real build-up. We just got the hatred from Batman. And it's like, and the hatred from Superman too, because obviously Superman knew who he was. But it was just like, I get where you were going, Zach, but we could have gotten there a little bit better.
It definitely needed a lot of touch-ups.
And what did you think in like Man of Steel about like the whole, like how Krypton like looked? My girlfriend made a good point. She was like, I feel like they're trying to do too much like futuristic stuff, even though Krypton was a very advanced society, and like a lot of stuff in like comics and the animated shows, like yeah, it shows Krypton having all these advanced stuff, but she was saying that she feels like it's more. I forgot what she exactly said. It doesn't feel like it doesn't really feel like Superman. It feels like more of a sci-fi movie with Superman being thrown in. And
Yeah.
I looked at her and I was like, wow, that is probably one of the best things I've heard anybody say about it. Because it's not saying it's bad, but it seems like it's just a sci-fi movie with Superman tossed in.
That's true. It didn't really feel like Krypton.
Yeah.
And then, there were some aspects of it where I was like, okay, that's kind of unique. They had like the flying creatures helping them around, which, I mean, I don't know why you need that if you're a highly scientific society, but okay. And and then I didn't notice it the first couple of times I watched the film, but then I remember hearing someone talk about the penis ships in the beginning that they try, and I was like, what? And I go back and watch it, and I was like, oh my god, those are penises that they're sending Zod and them into.
Like I saw that, and I mean, I didn't say anything to her when we were watching it because I thought she would have said something. And I was like, all right, let me not even, because she's already like with this movie because like it's not. We grew up with the Christopher Reeve stuff, right? So
yeah,
we just like the people who hate on the new Superman movie, they grew up with Christopher Reeve, but we're at least you, me, her, your wife, like a lot of other people, they're more open minded, right? So I was like, okay. But why does it look like a penis? Like, why did we go with that design?
Maybe the idea behind it is like, oh, we want it to shape like someone standing up, and then you have that extra space for their feet. But I'm like, someone had to draw that first.
Alex, no.
And they were like, hey, how does this look? Did no one tell them like that kind of looks like a penis?
Like nobody in the idea room, even Zach himself, he's like, yeah, this is great.
Maybe that's what they were going for. Like, yeah, we want it to look like a penis because
I don't know.
Sexy. I don't know. I don't know.
It was ass.
If I will say, there, as much as like they make me angry, the Zack Snyder movies, I will say there are a few things that I think were really well done. Obviously, Hans Zimmer score in Man of Steel, that was amazing.
That's what
10
I'm
out
saying.
of 10.
It gripped me. Yeah.
I was like, I'll mess with this. I like the fight scenes when they actually happen. I think the fight scenes are cool. A bit destructive, especially in Man of Steel. I'm like, all right, he's not really giving a damn about anybody, but it looks cool. I will give it that. It looks cool. And then there's a little bit of a hot take. A lot of people were upset about Superman killing Zod at the end of Man of Steel.
I wasn't.
That one didn't really bug me.
No.
I was kind of like, it makes sense. Zod, like, I hear the argument like Superman should have flown up, but like Zod's kind of pinning his arm down too.
Yeah.
So he can't really fly up. That was one case where I'm like, okay, Superman doesn't really have a no-kill rule. He just doesn't like to kill. But
yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't have a specific no-kill rule. I mean, he'll say no killing, like he'll say, hey, no killing, but
it's like it's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
He doesn't want to do unnecessary killing. But like if he's in that situation, I was like, yeah, Zod had to go. He had to go.
I mean, and even I hear what you're saying, because like I've seen a lot of arguments about all of Zack Snyder's movies and all the DC stuff in general, because people just want to hate on DC because it's popular for some reason. But there's a movie in the New 52 movies called The Death of Superman and the Reign of Superman. And The Death of Superman, you know that, first of all, two phenomenal movies.
That's my favorite animated movie right now.
The Death of Superman?
Death of Superman.
Yeah, bro. It is, when I first saw, actually, it didn't bring like tears to my eyes, like, but it was just like oh, geez, like this is really well done. Like this is.
I was weeping.
The dialogue, the writing, how fast everything happened. Like the movie was over before I even really realized, and I'm like, what? It was just Superman. He literally, Lois said, I forgot her exact line, but she's like, you can't hold back, or like something like that, or you have to something, and he's like, I know. I've got to do what needs to be done, or something. He said something like that.
Oh,
And that's what we're
he was
about.
talking to Wonder Woman. She's like,
Wonder
you
Woman.
can't hold back. If you do, he's gonna kill everyone. You can't.
Yeah, you can't hold
You
back.
have to
And
stop
I think
him.
he was like, I know, or something. I can't remember. But that's what I love right there. It's just that subtle, like, I know. And then he locks in. He still tries to not kill Doomsday. That's the crazy part about Superman. He still tries not to kill Doomsday. But he realizes, okay, this guy's mutating. He has Kryptonian DNA. He is going to kill everybody here. And then he was about to kill Lois. And he was like, "Oh hell no!" That's what the thing was.
Like, right. Your neck has to do a 360.
First of all, that shot was beautiful because I think he moved the fastest he had ever moved, and in those continuity of movies, like he moved so fast. I don't think I've ever seen him move that fast, at least in before then. And it's just that's what he had to do with Zod, though. Except if he would have tried to take Zod and fly him up. Zod would have actually ended up killing more people if you think about it. The consequence of his eye rays, would have probably slashed some people because it would have been like a struggle, to get up.
Yeah,
I mean, Zod would have been like pointing down. So Superman did what he had to do. That's actually one of my favorite scenes from Man of Steel because he's like, "Stop, please!" Like he's like, "Yo, I don't want to do this, but you're forcing me to," And Zod kind of pushed his hand too, but. I mean, what else was Superman supposed to do? Be like, bad boy. What did you want him to do?
Gosh darn it, that's 4 more people. We're trying to keep it under 20,000.
What do you want him to do?
There's too many.
Then we have Aquaman, the Aquaman movie, which wasn't terrible, but
the first one, I liked the first Aquaman movie.
Oh yeah. I like the first one.
That one was just like. That was like a comic book, like, hey, here's Atlantis. You got Ocean Master, who I think is an underrated villain. I think Ocean Master's dope. Black Manta was freaking awesome. I love the costume design. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, it's just like I'm reading a comic book. I loved that one.
Yeah, the first one was good.
It was good.
The
second one, I almost fell asleep. I don't normally fall asleep at movies, but that one I was like,
oh, is it still on? Oh, okay. Are they still in the desert? Oh, okay, whatever.
They're in the desert.
That was no. And then no. That we don't even talk about that. Wonder Woman is probably the best Zack Snyder movie, or movie in Zack Snyder's DC world, or at least one of the best, because like that was just so.
Yeah, the first Wonder Woman movie, absolutely, that was great.
The first one, yeah. The second one, I enjoyed it, but with Cheetah and how it just
that one made me angry. I was like,
I was pretty upset with that.
But my wife's biggest complaint about the first movie, and when she brought it up, I was like, yeah, that's true. And then like they doubled down on it in the second one. In the first movie, she doesn't really like tap into her true power until Steve Trevor dies.
Yep.
And it's just like the love of a man is what activates her inner godliness. And it's just like,
yeah, but no.
it's Wonder Woman. She really don't need no man. Of like superhero love interest, like Steve Trevor is the most uninteresting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like
compared to other superhero love interests, like I don't care about Steve Trevor. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, she can be sad, but she didn't need him. And in the second movie, she was just so distraught over him. For like, she can be sad, like, oh, look at pictures, like, oh yeah, I miss him. But like, she was distraught about him, and the whole concept of his soul possessing a living body that technically wasn't his, but it and I'm like,
they lost me with that.
It's been like 80 years or however long since World War I ended from that point. And
they lost me with that.
You gotta come on. This is Wonder Woman. Warrior Princess of Themyscira, like,
but they could have, and that's the thing is they didn't. There's a whole like romance with like Wonder Woman and Superman that these movies fail to explore ever, Except in the New 52, they did it before he met Lois or before he started dating Lois. Like,
Yeah, they did a little thing, and then they were just like, not feeling it.
Yeah, exactly. I would have loved to see that in live action. You know, they had this little, menage a trois or whatever the hell, and then it's like Lois shows up and is like, "Oh, well, who's this?" Like, come on, Clark. I didn't know that you were out here just killing all the ladies like that. Oh, that just like in the New 52 movie. And then even the Justice League shows up and they're like, "Wait, are these two on a date? What is happening here?" So it's like they could have done that in live action and it would have been pretty good. I think with Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill, that would have been very interesting to see. And maybe that would have made people a little bit more interested in those movies. But overall, the Zack Snyder movies are not the greatest, especially as they age. I mean, the Justice League movie, like the 4-hour cut, I've watched that so many times. It is insane because the way how they delve into the whole old gods and new gods and the dark side coming to Earth and the three different, like the Lanterns, the Atlanteans, and the gods, like the Olympians, they all like join forces and fight. That is great. That is honestly phenomenal. The Justice League Snyder cut, the 4-hour one, is beautiful. Like, I mean, that the only thing they could have done different is maybe include Shazam because he's one of the original Justice League members. They maybe could have included Shazam and Green Lantern in that Justice League movie. But that's about it. That's about it. It was good. It's just, man,
if I can be honest, don't hate
like
me. I didn't dislike it. I watched it and I'm just like nodding the whole time.
Like,
and then it ends and I'm like, okay.
I could see that.
That was cool. Like, there were parts about it that I did prefer. I think Steppenwolf was much better. Steppenwolf was cooler. Yeah. I like that they actually bring up Darkseid.
Yeah, not just talk about him, actually show him.
I was annoyed that Darkseid forgot where Earth was, even though he is just down bad about the anti-life equation. Like, I don't think that's something he would forget.
I never understood that too, to be honest. Like, I love the movie, but I was just like,
it's like I could have used like so many thousands of years ago when this war happened, the gods all came together and teleported Earth somewhere else.
That would have been more believable.
And then that's all. And then that's how we came into this solar system. Like, they could have said that. I'd be like, oh, cool, chill. That makes sense.
Oh, he just forgot. It's like
he got jumped so badly. He's like, damn, where'd that place go?
And maybe that's what the like unsung thing is. It's like he got his ass beat so bad that he just genuinely forgot where it was. But then again, that takes away from the all powerfulness of Darkseid and the gods,
That was what bugged me, because it was just like it watered down a lot of these characters. Like with Darkseid, like I didn't see that happening. And then with I liked how they go deeper into Cyborg. I love Cyborg.
Yes, yes.
He honestly should have had his own movie. The Flash should have had his own movie before this.
Yeah.
That's neither here or there.
Yeah.
They were trying to play catch up. And the thing that bugged me the most was the ending, in terms of how they beat Steppenwolf. Because I'm like, Steppenwolf is cool, but it's just Steppenwolf.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
One of them could have taken him out.
He is a C tier villain. I'm sorry if anyone's a big Steppenwolf fan, but it's Steppenwolf. The entire might of the Justice League almost lost, and the Flash, if I'm correct, had to reverse time to beat Steppenwolf.
Mm-hmm.
That's hella disrespectful. I'm sorry.
That is very disrespectful to the Justice League.
Like, no wonder there was supposed to be a movie where Darkseid takes over the world, because this Justice League can't fight.
Yeah.
If they need to reverse time to beat Steppenwolf,
and if they need to come up with a battle plan for all of them to intervene, like, I mean, in the Justice League War movie, they did that with Darkseid. So it's
Darkseid. I get it with Darkseid.
They're making it seem like this, and that's the thing I always felt about this Justice League is they're so nerfed, it's ridiculous. Like they can't do anything without at least 3 or 4 of them. which is the whole team in essence. Come on,
Yeah.
that's
It's counterintuitive to, or what's the word? Counter to the idea of them being like, well, these are gods among men, but they can't beat Steppenwolf in a straight up fight.
Wonder Woman could take out Steppenwolf in her sleep.
Wonder Woman in the comics and in the cartoons,
oh my god,
pieces up Steppenwolf.
She could literally flick him. Like honestly, she could probably flick him, and it would be fun.
Batman might not beat Steppenwolf,
but he'll injure him.
But he'll bug the crap out of him. It will be a long fight. But so I was just watching that scene. I'm just like, dang, really?
Yeah.
But but definitely better than the Whedon cut. Definitely better. I would rather watch the Snyder cut than the Whedon cut, because that was a whole lot extra. But another hot take, I will say, I preferred the Whedon cut Superman over the Snyder Superman, only because it seemed like a little bit more Henry Cavill being Henry Cavill, even with the CGI mouth and all.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely love the scene where he shows up behind Steppenwolf. He's like, I like truth, and I'm a big fan of justice. And I'm like, look, yeah, that's a Superman line.
That's a Superman line, yeah. That's also what we were missing, man, is like the lines from Superman. Like in this new movie, oh my God, that was I still rave about that movie. It is so good. It is absolutely amazing. And one of the main things that made me love David Cornsweet as Superman is the fact that he's like, gosh golly, or like
he's a goof.
Like, come on, no killing. What is this? Like what? It's just
got to be a better way of doing this.
Like, why? He's like, I'm not sleeping. I'm doing important stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have Cavill do any of that? Like, Cavill could have been like, oh, well, that's probably gonna hurt in the morning, or maybe not. Who knows? Like something like that would have been cool, man. Just give him add more humor to him. Yes, he can be dark, but then do dark humor. Something,
like
do something.
Some personality. That's what I felt like. The Snyder movies were lacking personality. They had the dark aspect kind of down, but like there was no soul. I felt like there was no soul behind it. Like in the Death of Superman movie, I felt like that was a perfect example of it being very dark, but there was personality still. There was still humanity. Everyone was different. There's just something in it.
Yep.
These movies just felt.
Yeah. One note.
Yeah.
They didn't take any notes from the animated stuff in the comics where like they do these one-liners, they do these jokes, and even the jokes in the Zack Snyder movies, I'd be like, ha, but not like, hey, like, no, it was just like a, ha.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like it didn't really faze me, and that's going to segue into this. What I'm talking about is the Authority. Now, if under James Gunn, I have a strong feeling that the Authority is going to be amazing, because the Authority is this ragtag band of people or heroes that dish out their own justice however they see fit by any means necessary. And there's one version of the Authority that has Superman in it. However, it's a depowered Superman. He has no powers. And he assembles a team so he can rescue people from Mongol's Warworld. But he has no powers. So it's like, I love that because there's different variations of that team. He's got like the gray Mr. Fantastic thing going on.
That's my favorite. I'm about to get that hairstyle when I get.
Oh, I honestly low-key love that
hairstyle.
Yeah, like just on the sides. And then he has that like black and red Superman symbol, but he's just wearing like a shirt and like black pants. Like he's, it's still Superman. But that's the thing, is he is Superman, whether he has powers or not. And he's going up against Mongol of all people. Mongol. And I have to reread some of them because I don't think that version of the team dishes out justice like that because Superman's on it. But at the same time, I still think that they do. So I have to double check that. Definitely have to double check that. But like the original Authority with like Stormwatch and everything, like with the Engineer and the Doctor and Midnighter and Jenny Sparks, like oh my God, jeez. I really hope that James Gunn does like the whole how it is with the Authority. Like there's the Authority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with different different people, And we have like Green Arrow and Lois Lane and Martian Manhunter and Mr. Terrific in the Authority at certain times. So it's like, I really hope that he dives into it in that way. Like there's the original team kind of gets transferred to like a different thing where like Midnighter is now the Colonel from like hold on, I have it here in my notes. Like the Colonel is like patterned after Jenny Sparks. Swift is replaced by Rush, which is from Canada. And then the Doctor is replaced with a surgeon from France. You know, it's like they have all of these different things, which I think is phenomenal. Yeah. You know, and like there's two people from like the original team, like Jack Hawksmoor and the Engineer, which the Engineer was in what? Superman. So that's what makes me think that maybe he might do that whole Superman team, but I just can't remember if like his team was the one, because there were some people on his team that they definitely would murk people. So
like was Manchester Black was also on the Authority.
Yeah. There's a lot there, bro. I wrote down quite a few people, but it's so many. Like that's why I said this is gonna have to be multiple episodes we talk about this, because there's so many different teams. Like so many different teams, so many different people on the team, and so many different versions. Like there's the G7 nations, which I'm assuming is more like the just nations of the world. They get sick and tired of the Authority doing whatever they have to do, so they like come up with this like monstrous superhuman. His name's Seth, and he supposedly has over 1,000 superpowers. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're that intimidated by this group of people that you create this monstrous superhuman with over 1,000 superpowers. So, like, that in and of itself is a whole thing that I would love to dive into, because I knew about that, but I didn't really realize that it was like this guy named Seth created by the G7 nations. So there's so many things about the Authority that James Gunn could dive into, and I think that a lot of fans would like. And I just really hope that we get that. Like, that could get very convoluted very quickly with all the different teams, you know, like especially we saw how Zack Snyder stuff went. So it could get very convoluted very quickly. But seeing how James Gunn did this movie, and then he's doing Supergirl, which we haven't gotten a Supergirl movie yet forever. So I mean, the fact that he's doing it like this.
We just had the one in the 80s, right?
Yeah. And then there was the Supergirl TV show with Melissa Benoit.
Yeah.
And then
that was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I still have to catch up on the rest of it, because when it first came out, I was like, I'm not watching that. Looks cheesy. But I should have. But then there's Sasha Calle's Superwoman, which is Supergirl, which is from the Flash. I can't even. The Flash movie.
She was great.
She was phenomenal. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, phenomenal. Ezra Miller as the Flash. Taco cheese on a hot day. Get out of here. I cannot stand Ezra Miller, bro. I cannot.
Why did they go with Dark Flash instead of Reverse Flash? Like, why make up a new villain?
Well, technically,
the main one.
So there's a villain called Savitar, who's a time remnant from Barry, and that's, I guess, who that was supposed to be. That's what Anthony and I were talking about. It's like maybe that's who that was supposed to be, but even so, it didn't really. The only reason that I even would have thought about that is because he's like, I'm you, you know, and it just turned into him, and that's how it happened in season 3 of The Flash. But and in the comics, but like, I just why for the first ever live action Flash movie, why wouldn't you do Reverse Flash? Why? Just why?
That's the Flash villain.
That is the Flash villain. Yes, there's Gorilla Grodd. There's the Rogues. There's the Toy Master. There's the Trickster. There's all of these people. Yes, great. But Reverse Flash is the name, like the face of the Flash villains. Literally. It just that I was watching the whole movie, and at first, before Anthony and I saw it, we were like, oh, you know, okay, so it looks like they might make him a Reverse Flash. He's wearing a yellow jacket. I don't know. And the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm sitting there, and as the movie's going on, obviously I'm a huge Flash fan. I'm just sitting there like, okay, this is I don't like Ezra Miller, but this isn't completely terrible yet. Again, like it just no, bro. Like they missed an opportunity, and I feel like it was an instance where they were trying to do too much.
Yeah,
and it worked heavily against them. Heavily.
yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking with that one, but I'm hoping with James Gunn we get a good Flash movie. Hopefully it's Grant Gustin.
That would be cool. That would be cool if he comes back, because I remember watching an interview just saying like how he was getting burnt out from doing the Flash, and just
which I can't blame him.
Because you can't blame him because there's only so much.
9 seasons.
Yeah,
like,
that's a lot, especially to come up with like. And one of his arguments was like, well, the Flash is a hero that can solve any issue in like less than a second. So it's like, how do you write stories about a character like that, especially a series? And at first they did it well.
They did it very well, yeah.
But yeah, you start to see that, like when he was talking about just the fatigue of the writers, like you could tell they were slowly just running out of ideas. So they just, well, you got to keep adding more and more speedsters and more speed villains, and
which that's what they do in the comics and the shows. But like at least in those things, there's ways that the Flash has to like actually investigate things, and like he has to work with like Batman. You know, there's a comic strip with like a crossover with the Watchmen, and Reverse Flash comes in and like I can't remember what happened. I can't remember if it's he comes in and he attacks Batman or something, and there's like a pin with a smile on it and there's blood on it. And then Flash and Batman, they travel to like an alternate time, and then like the Reverse Flash is there, and it's like Watchmen. Like we could have done, you know, they do the crossovers and stuff, but they could have done so much. And it's just like, why aren't we looking at the Justice League Unlimited shows? Why aren't we looking at Young Justice? Why aren't we looking at all of this stuff, man? Like it just doesn't make sense.
I'm totally fine if they just straight up go to like those animated movies or shows and just copy paste live action. Like I'm 100% about that, because I would love for people like friends and family that will watch superhero movies, but they refuse to watch any of the animated stuff because that's for kids. And I'm like, okay, well, just take that story and put it live action there. They can watch it.
Put it in live action, yeah. I mean, and even then, it's really not that made for kids. I mean, people are literally getting stabbed, and there's blood, and they're getting choked out and sliced and diced. Like, it's not really for kids when you think about it.
It's kind of hardcore. Like kids might don't show them the new stuff, but
yeah, no.
You know, like the Justice League cartoon, there's a lot of adult themes in there.
Yep, there's a lot, yeah. And I mean, hopefully with Millie Alcock's Supergirl, that'll be pretty good too. It's under James Gunn, so I have faith in it. But I think it's following that Woman of Tomorrow comic run from 2021, 2022. Mm-hmm. It's like the what do they call it? The Infinite Frontier initiation. And I mean, I guess in that she helps this warrior. Her name is Ruthie Marie Null. I actually have never heard of that person, but she works with her to find the brutal killer of her father. And the killer is the Creme of the Yellow Hills. That's a villain in that. So I'm definitely going to read that comic strip because I've seen a lot of the Supergirl stuff, animated stuff like Legion of Superheroes with the Tomorrowverse. That's a really good movie. I thought they were going in that route, which that would have been crazy if they did that, you know, bringing in Brainiac 5 and all these futuristic heroes and then the Justice. That would be cool. But
I love that romance, by the way.
It is honestly, that was one of the best things they could have done.
Her and Brainiac 5, I was just like, that's such a turn of events.
Yeah, because then Superman comes in and she's like, "Yeah, this is my boyfriend," and Superman's like, "I'm sorry, who is what?"
Like, the guy that destroyed our planet.
Yeah, Brainiac 5
in some storylines.
That would have been great, man. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Supergirl? Like, what do you think that they could potentially do? We've already seen how she's going to be pretty much. Like, I mean, she went to a distant planet with a red sun so that she could get drunk and party, which is Supergirl. That is how she is. She is a party girl. She is, you know, who she is. So what do you think they're going to do in this movie? Like, how do you think they're going to really portray her? And do you think that they'll bring in anyone else in this movie?
I think it's gonna have a similar tone, and that I can, since James Gunn is doing it, I can picture it having a similar tone as Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like where it focused more on Rocket, and you know, we love Rocket. He's a mess. He's funny, but then in the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it really dives deep into his backstory and what drives him. And so there's just a lot of pain, obviously, a lot of emotion there. And I think we're gonna get something similar with Supergirl. Like we saw her, and haha, she's drunk, and that's so silly. But why is she drunk though? Because she literally witnessed Krypton's destruction.
Yeah.
Like, so Clark doesn't carry that trauma.
She does.
She does. And that understandably would mess her up emotionally, mentally.
And technically, isn't she supposed to be a little bit older? She's his cousin, but she's supposed to be older because she was technically sent to watch over him.
She was whatever age she is now when they were sent. So I don't know how long she's been around.
Yeah, I gotta look that up because I know that's something that's always a thing. It's like technically she's the older one because she was sent to watch over him, but her pod I think got lost or something.
It hit a Snyder dark side. I was like, damn, where do I go?
Yeah,
where's that place at?
Yeah, I forget what happens in the story. I think it's her ship hit something and went off course, but then eventually got back on course. I don't know. We'd have to look that up. But technically she's older, but in every depiction in like anime and comics, like she obviously looks younger than him and you know, all that stuff. So it's like, it's very interesting that she's supposed to be the older one. But I think that plays into the story as well, that she's, you know, this party girl and everything, because she's technically the older one, but she's younger because Clark has spent more time on Earth.
Right.
So that kind of takes care of itself. But I don't know. I really like Millie Alcock because when I first saw her in House of the Dragon, at first I was like, okay, well, we'll see. And then as it went on, I'm like, oh, damn, she's good. Like, she's really good. And then when I saw she was cast as Supergirl, I'm like, okay, she could definitely bring that sass. She could bring that like stoic look to Supergirl sometimes. She could bring that like, you know, kind of vibe to Supergirl. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm hopeful. I think that she will actually do a good job with that. She's a good actress. So I think that she'll do a good job with it.
I think so too. I have a feeling it's going to make me cry.
It's
going to be one of those emotional.
In this movie, there's going to be some real stuff because, again, you said it. She was off-world partying, and I think that's a lot of thing that happens too. Is she wants to feel the effects of not being getting drunk and stuff, but she's also traumatized, man. Like
she wants to dull that pain as much as she can.
Yeah, like Clark, he's traumatized in a way. Like he finds out his whole planet is destroyed, and he doesn't have his real parents are dead, and he'll never see his people again. Yeah, that's traumatizing. But actually, like witnessing it as you're leaving the planet, that is crazy. That's crazy.
Who knows what that would do to your psyche?
Yeah, no,
that ain't your home planet.
Supergirl, look at Kara.
Yeah,
I feel like we should hopefully get some scenes of that, like her leaving the planet, seeing the destruction, seeing the sadness in her face, maybe her own parents, you know, she's like still looking at them and like, they're like, you know, waving or something, you know, something like that. And then I just, I don't know if they bring in any other characters into that movie, maybe at the end, but I would like to see like a Superman and Batman interaction, just like how it was in the Apocalypse, Justice League or Batman Superman Apocalypse, where she like crash lands and, you know, she's speaking a different language, and then Batman finds her and he's like, one of yours. Like, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy, man. Wow, what a great Batman.
Perfect. I don't think any other Batman can do better.
Yeah. Well, hopefully,
we'll see.
So. I don't think so either. But
I like other Batman voice actors.
Yeah, Jensen Ackles is really good at voicing Batman.
I'm biased towards Jensen Ackles just because I'm a Supernatural fan.
Yeah, same. But I don't know what they're gonna do in regards to like a Flash, Batman, a Shazam, even a Wonder Woman right now in James Gunn's DCU. We don't have any of that yet. So
got the what is it? The Women of Themyscira or something like that. Women of Paradise. A series supposedly
supposedly.
coming. But we do have
More
lanterns.
lanterns,
coming.
yeah. I'm excited for that.
That's gonna be dope.
That is gonna be so
And
good.
I really hope they don't have to show it all in the first season, but like at least tease the other light spectrums.
Oh heck yeah!
You know, like
They have to bring Kilowog
hint
in.
at there were different spectrums, and
They have to bring Kilowog in to train him. They have to.
Kilowog.
Or if not to train him, but if it's not like an origin story, if it's more like just, you know, because it's I remember reading that's an older Hal Jordan, you know, and John Stewart's there. So obviously they're already established, but bring in Kilowog, you know, like what's up, Pooza, you know, like bringing Kilowog, and then what's his name? If they have Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and we have Guy Gardner.
Yeah, Guy
Gardner. I wonder
Gardner.
if he might, you know, and then Jessica Cruz would be nice. Simon Baz, like all of these.
Kyle Rayner.
Kyle Rayner, yeah, Kyle Rayner. Like if we bring in all those, like, bro, that
King Kong.
Okay, well, all right, well, all that.
I don't know if you read that comic.
No, I know that there's like there's different comics with like King Kong, Godzilla, and like all these other like franchises, and I'm like, whoa,
that one was. That was I was reading that comic. It was Justice League versus Godzilla and Kong. And at one point, a Green Lantern, I forgot which one, gets killed, and the ring goes to Kong.
Oh my god!
And I'm just like, I'm sorry, that's the coolest effing thing I've seen in a comic in a long time.
They should do that. That'd be cool. I feel like people would go crazy. That would be nuts.
I'm like, I don't care how you do it. Just make just a separate standoff movie of this.
Did you ever see that Green Lantern 3D animated TV show?
I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Dude, I want them to employ some stuff from like the Red Lanterns and from the comics, like the Blue Lanterns, the White Lanterns, like all that stuff. Like that would be really cool to see in live action, because people like us, we know about that stuff. But like other people who are conventional DC watchers, like they don't really read the stuff, and you know they're not really up to date with everything. They don't know about that. You'll say, "Oh, there's a White Lantern," and they'll be like, "Are you kidding? Or is that a joke?" And it's like, no, there's a White Lantern, and they are basically OP as hell. Like, I mean, Green Lantern is already OP, but geez, like these other lanterns, whoa, it's crazy.
There's an Orange Lantern Corps that is just one guy.
Like literally. And then Red Lanterns, I mean, shit, just get angry and you'll be fine. Like, but yeah,
the best thing about the Red Lanterns though is they have a cat.
That is so funny,
and he loves his cat. The cat has the red ring.
Funny. I forgot about that. That's so funny. Oh my god, the Yellow Lanterns. I mean, they're just
that one. I have a tattoo of the Sinestro Corps.
That's cool.
I gotta get it finished. Sorry. Let's see. Nope, that's Umbrella. Where is it? This one. There it is.
Oh, that's cool.
I got it. I still got so much work to do on this arm.
That's okay. In time. I see the big Majin symbol too.
Yeah, gotta put that there.
Hell yeah. But yeah, man, that's about it, man. We could keep going, but I'm gonna cut it here, because if not, then we'll be going for the next 4 hours talking about how Zack Snyder's let us down. But thank you, Mr. Alex, for joining me in this live stream.
Thank
you all for those who tuned in. We've had 2-3 people at a time sometimes, which is a little bit better than what we've seen in the past few streams. So thank you all for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for humoring us. We appreciate it. And going forward, we'll be doing a lot more talking about Zack Snyder and his caca-cheese mentality about DC and the Authority, because the Authority is just such a huge thing, and just a crazy installments within DC. And there's just so many different things to talk about with that. So we'll dive into that. And as Supergirl is coming out, we will talk more about that too. And Alex, do you want to share with us anything that you have coming on the channel? Anything you recently put out? I think I checked that you posted something like about a month ago about what is it? The Joker, I believe.
Yes.
And I checked that out.
I recently posted, not recently, but about a month ago, I posted a Joker video on like how a potential third film could have looked if Joker Folie à Deux had been successful, if people actually liked it. Obviously there had been some finagling to make it successful, but really interesting video. I think y'all should check it out. and I just posted a short talking about, forget Hogwarts houses. Tell me what superhero team you'd be a part of. So go ahead and check that out, and let me know which superhero team you'd be a part of.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go comment on that because I already know. Yeah, guys, the link to his channel is gonna be in the description box below, and we will be doing this again sometime next week. We will post about it, let you guys know. But as far as right now goes, we're signing off. So thank you so much for joining us, Alex. Thank you for joining me in this. And once again, guys, please check out his channel. He's got great content. Again, one of the only other DC people that I actually know that loves DC as much as me and wants to talk about it with the world as much as me. And it's awesome. It's great. So definitely check out his channel and give him some support. All right. And tell him I sent you. All right, guys, in the next one. And we are out.
Almost.
No, well, it's almost there.
That's
and we are